If you're looking to make a move to a career in instructional design, you may already know that having a quality portfolio is crucial to stand out in the current crowded market for ID roles. I mean, you have to show what you can do, right? But an ID portfolio is more than just a platform to show what you've created in the past. You have to position yourself as a problem solver, and there are certain underlying principles that you can follow to do just that with your portfolio. Stick around to see what this looks like in practice. Hi, I'm Scott Schmidt, a bootcamp pro on the DevImpact team, and I've worked with a number of bootcampers to help them use the exact same principles I'm about to share with you to create standout portfolios. Like many people transitioning to instructional design, I was a teacher looking for a change, and ID seemed like a great fit. I quickly learned that I would need a portfolio to showcase my work and my abilities to potential employers, but I had no idea how to do that. I did, however, have a teaching portfolio, and I figured, well, this is probably going to be enough, right? I mean, the skills I have as a teacher translate so well to instructional design that surely what I've got here is going to show hiring managers that I'm up to the task of being an instructional designer. But I quickly learned that the purpose of an ID portfolio is much different than a teaching portfolio. And once I discovered the foundational principles of creating an ID portfolio, I was able to create one that helped me stand out in the market for ID roles and led to me not only getting a contract job, but also shortly after that, a full-time role. That's why in this video, I want to share with you those same principles so that you can create a portfolio that helps you land your dream ID role. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so one great way to learn the principles of what goes into an ID portfolio and how to build it is to actually compare it with other different types of portfolios so you can really see the difference. For example, let's take a photographer's portfolio compared with a graphic designer. A photographer's portfolio might be designed to showcase their style, their technical capabilities, and their range of experience, while a graphic designer's portfolio might be designed to showcase their artistic versatility and how well they can convey a certain brand image or message with their visuals. So even just between these two different types of portfolios, you can see that the purpose is very, very different. All right. Now, for the rest of the comparison, I'm actually going to highlight very specific examples of how teaching portfolios differ from ID portfolios, primarily because I have a lot of experience with teaching and a teaching portfolio, and because there are a lot of teachers that are trying to transition to ID. So we can really kind of connect with their experience. But again, even if you're not a teacher, you can still gain valuable experience by looking at the comparisons here. Okay, so one key difference here is that a teaching portfolio is a comprehensive snapshot of their experience. It includes a very wide-ranging set of artifacts, but with an ID portfolio, it's a much smaller subset of work that you're going to show that really shows your versatility and skill in creating different types of learning solutions. So we're really going to focus on one main type of thing, which is creating learning solutions. Next, it's important to recognize that teaching involves a holistic approach to educating children. Teachers need to teach subject matter, but they also need to be psychologists, and they need to teach kids social skills and study skills and all kinds of different things that form their development. But with an ID, their main job is to create learning experiences that solve specific problems. That's it. It's much more of a narrow focus for their work. Okay. Next, school admins are going to be looking for language and skills associated with helping children learn, which is called pedagogy. All right. But that's very different than the way adults learn. And that's what IDs do. They develop learning experiences for adults. All right. And that's called andragogy. All right. So ID hiring managers are going to look for skills and language associated with helping adults learn, which is very different than teaching children. Next, teaching portfolios often include artifacts that just say, hey, I've done these things before and here's the proof. Here, look, here's an example of me creating a curriculum. Here's an example of me doing classroom management, and so on and so forth. It's just, here, look, I've done this before. But with an ID, the artifacts are typically designed to say, hey, I've solved specific learning related problems, but here's how I did it. ID hiring managers are going to want to see the how. They want to see the way you work and your process. All right. Now, to kind of take that a little bit of a step further, teaching portfolios, it's enough to just have those artifacts that show, hey, I've done these things. All right, whether it's teaching specific subjects or completing other teaching related duties. That's typically enough for your artifacts. But with an ID portfolio, it's not enough to just showcase the work that you've done. IDs also need to show how their experiences solved specific problems. And not only that, but how they designed them to solve those specific problems. That's what they're looking for. So again, it's not just enough to include the examples of your work. You have to show how it solved a problem and how you designed it to solve that problem. All right. And then finally, a teaching portfolio, it's typically designed for someone to say, hey, I have the experience and the knowledge to do this job. All right. That's typically enough. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to say, I have this expertise and knowledge, and here's the proof. But with an ID, you actually need to sell yourself as a brand, because in the corporate environment, that's what they're familiar with. They associate brands with solving specific problems. And that's what you need to do for yourself as a potential ID. You need to brand yourself as a unique learning experience designer that can solve specific problems. All right. So you really do need to brand yourself. Even if you've never created or even seen a portfolio of any kind, the things you just learned about ID portfolios in this teacher ID portfolio comparison can still help you in designing your ID portfolio to land the roles that you want. But I do want to summarize what you just learned into 7 key foundational principles that can help get you in the right mindset as you go to build your first ID portfolio or revise your current one. So let's take a look at that summary of those principles now. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the specific principles that you can follow to create your ID portfolio. And as I go through, I'm going to show examples of these things on real portfolios. So number 1 is showcase your work. It's the most important thing with your portfolio. Do it right on the homepage. Showcase at least some of your work right there on the homepage. If we take a look at this portfolio from Nan, who is a boot camper, you can see right here on her homepage, she's got selected projects, and she included 5 projects to really highlight her work. Okay, so when you put some work samples right there on the home screen, it's very difficult for a hiring manager to miss that. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2 is state your value. Include a clear statement about how you can solve learning related problems. All right, if we take a look at another boot camper's example, this is Emily, and you can see right here in the top section, she's included this statement. I create captivating learning experiences that ignite curiosity and inspire growth. She's used very descriptive language that really shows what she values and really the kind of the feel and the vibe that she wants to send about the work that she creates and what she can do for a potential employer. Okay, so including that statement right there at the top of the home screen was a really, really strong element and a good idea. Number 3, connect to learning theories. Remember that we said that you want to explain how your learning experiences were designed to meet specific learning needs. And part of that is to connect what you've done to the proven strategies that have been developed by way of learning theories. So if you can connect what you did to learning theories, that's always a good thing. If we go to this example from Melanie, another boot camper, if I go to her portfolio and I go to her main project here, look what she has in the storyboarding section. Right here, she has this statement, following Meyer's personalization principle, I used a casual, friendly tone and created relatable and engaging characters. That one super simple statement shows hiring managers that Melanie really knows what she's doing. She intentionally used learning theory and incorporated that strategy into the design of her project. Notice she doesn't go on and on and on about it. This is not an academic paper by any means, but including those short little statements where you connect what you did to learning theory is very, very powerful. Number 4, show variety. You want to include projects that show not only a variety of topics, but also a variety of formats. You don't want to just have 5 e-learning examples. All right. Unless that's the only thing that you really want to focus on, then that's the message you want to send. But if you want to send the message that you are versatile and can create any kind of learning experience for different learning needs, that's always a good idea too. Now for this one, I'm going to do a little bit of a shameless plug and I'm going to use my own portfolio. If I go to my portfolio page, my featured project is a scenario-based e-learning. All right. But it's really more of a demo, or not really a demo, but like a concept project. Down here, I've got this one. It's scenario-based and it says it's an e-learning demo, but look what I included out here. Full course design. That's what separates this one from the one up here. Okay, including these key features is a way to differentiate each project as well. Down here, it's a micro learning explainer video. This is a video to help solve a particular learning need. And then down here, I have an interactive informational tool. So it's more of a learning tool rather than an e-learning experience. All right. And all of these are very different topics. And they're all different formats. So if you can include that variety, that's always a good idea as well. Number 5 is show relatable projects. You want the projects that you include to not only be varied in terms of the topics, but you want them to be topics the hiring manager can relate to, because when they are relatable, you can make it so that the hiring manager can really see you as the solution to their learning needs, because they can really relate to the work that you've decided to highlight. Number 6 is show impact. This is tough if you don't have real world experience, but if you do, you want to explain the impact your projects had on achieving a particular goal. There is nothing more powerful than demonstrating that your work actually had a real impact on a real goal. Okay. So if you can do that, again, that's really kind of difficult if you don't have experience, but it can be very powerful. And number 7 is show your brand. We talked about this. Brand yourself the way a business brands itself. You want your brand to be associated with the quality learning experiences that you can create. You want to be seen as a credible leader in developing learning experiences to solve problems. Now, to do that, I'm going to show you the way all of these. If we look at the examples of all these other people, you can see how they've branded themselves. If we look at Nan, you can see that she used her name, but stylized it with a unique font and added this curved e-learning text. Okay, that's how she branded herself. If we go to Emily, she decided to stick with just a real simple block letters. There's not really much branding there, but if you look at her website and you look at the color scheme, these bright greens really stand out. That's where her branding comes in, because this bright green really matches the statement that she has here. I associate this green with captivating, igniting curiosity, inspiring growth. I think her color scheme matches that. So that's how she decided to do it. If I go to Melanie, let me zoom in a little bit here. If I go to Melanie's, we can see that she went with she used her initials in this case, LXD for Learning Experience Designer. But look at hers, very sleek, very refined, very professional looking. That's the vibe that she went for with hers. Okay. And then on mine, I decided to use more of an icon based branding, where I have this brain icon with my initials in there with LXD. So the brain suggests learning, of course. And that's how I wanted people to associate what I do with my brand. Okay. So again, you'll notice that all of these brandings are very, very simple. There's nothing super complicated about them, but they really send the message that each of these people wants to send with their brand. The value of a portfolio when you're trying to land an ID role cannot be understated. And now you can use the principles you've learned in this video to help you build your own standout portfolio that can help employers see you as the problem solver they need. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the ID Bootcamp, where we can work with you individually to create your standout portfolio, check out the link in the description below. And if you'd like to explore portfolios more, we're having a live portfolio review event next week. On Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, the Bootcamp pros on Devlin's team will be reviewing portfolios live, including the portfolio of one lucky person who is in attendance. If you're interested in joining us for that event, use the link in the description below. We hope to see you there so that you can learn even more about quality portfolios and see these principles in action. But for now, I will say goodbye, and I will see you in my next video.